we're trading Wednesday, September 10th, PPI we have later today, nothing during London. Dollar did not tap into the daily for value yet on either of the dollars. We did retest this inverse for value gap though. Euro has tapped into its daily for value gap, so I'm looking for a bearish dollar. I do wish that it tapped into the daily for value gap, but it doesn't need to. That being said, we do have this opposing 4-hour for value gap that I don't like. That big of an issue though, because we still have 2 hours left on this DXY and an hour on the other. 1 hour we have Asia to London OTE, so this should be pretty easy, not gonna lie. Just gonna drop the OTE now because it looks like it's making the high, and set my order for that 62. Then I'm gonna place my stop loss at that. Well, actually looks like just under that 90%. And then 4 hour, I was looking for take profit objectives. I mean, honestly, previous day high is probably gonna end up getting a hit here, not gonna lie, but we have this 1 hour fair value gap that's most definitely gonna get hit. Let me see what I can throw on for risk. So just under 1% is what I can risk. I'm just gonna throw it on. We'll see if he gets it. So a quick note I wanted to add as I was looking at the charts a little bit more. I was very worried about like previous month's low, previous week's low sweep. As I mentioned in the last video, that's one of my problems that I had, was we would take previous month's low or previous week's low, and then I would try and continue bearish, even though I should expect somewhat of a reaction, right? And I was looking at this, I was like, man, like, what looks worse on Euro? I was looking at this, I was like, dude, this looks like a bunch of highs that just got taken, you know what I mean? And then maybe like liquidity sweep, but I'm comfortable with it because the fact that we took this previous month's high and then wicked it and closed above it once. Yes, we closed strongly lower, right? Went above it once, twice, 3 times, and now we came back down and we're reacting off of a fair value gap that's in the middle of this consolidation range, right? So I'm confident in my trading direction. I just need price to get down to my entry to tap me in. It might not end up doing that by the looks of it, because this is the first leg. If we're looking at this as a market maker sell model, initial consolidation. Let me get rid of the kill zones real quick. We have initial and these. I just need to clean everything up. I'll do it. Can I delete this, please? There we go. Delete. So we have initial consolidation up here. Ends up running, runs, and then honestly I'm not really sure if I should be looking at this as the breaker, right? Like high, lower, low, or if I should be looking at this as the breaker. But either way, the breaker was made here, and this is the first leg. And usually the first leg doesn't get to OTE like this. So if we do end up running higher and then displacing higher, I might end up just looking to OTE this leg from the 1 hour, because this low taps into this 1 hour for value gap, and this is making the second leg if it breaks and makes a new high, right? So that's where I'll look to anchor my new OTE if it does end up not tagging us in. So, alright, so I'm expecting we're probably gonna get stopped out here. Yeah, that's frustrating, not gonna lie. Let's see what we got going on here. So we did have price. I'm just kind of confused and frustrated. Why didn't that trade work, right? I think my problem here was direction. Again, I think direction was just off, and I think I knew that these lows are going to end up getting taken, right? Probably with CPI, if anything. But it sucks saying this because obviously it's all hindsight, right? But I think I definitely should have been I think I definitely should have been bullish today, considering we had the strong reaction off of previous week's low sweep, right? And then I trade the continuation. So we have this 1 hour for value gap opposing us. And so what we could do here is when we have these entry methods, or what we could do here is when we have these stages, like a 4 hour for value gap in this opposing Asia range, right? Is with the opposing Asia range, I obviously wait to have this 1 hour candle close past it. And then I like to look for a 15-minute fair value gap for me to enter off of, right? You know, once this candle closes, this would be my entry. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is where I'm at my funded. Minimum balance for the day is 49,481, and part of me wants to look to try and switch sides and trade this bearish euro, bullish dollar. I know I usually have the rule for no trading, like more than once I take a loss then I'm done, like once I take a full 1% loss then I'm done. But I feel like since I've came so much lower on my funded that I should just try and turn it around anyways. If I was on a real account, obviously one and done, I'd be done. Since I'm on this funded and I'm getting close to being stopped out, I want to try and turn it around and fix it anyways. It's a bad mindset to have, but if it doesn't, then I can just reset it. I went back and I started listening to the last video I just made, and I was just like, am I actually, like, why would I try and trade right now? I'm clearly like in tilt, right? If we look at the dollar right now, dude, look at this. This is just sideways. I'm actually trying to trade a consolidation right now. I think that's also why I've been struggling with direction, right? Because it's like no clean, like this is not happening. You know what I mean? This isn't happening. this is better. You know what I mean? It's still not the cleanest, like here, but even this is better. This is just sideways, like, but yeah, it's just tilt traded. That was crazy. I feel like these losses are getting to me more because I know what I'm capable of. Like I just had some good trades and I had a good breakthrough of like figuring this stuff out and like, you know, having my system down, right? I think these losses are hurting a little bit more. Especially because like they're so stupid. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I said, this trade right here in the second, I was trying to short this. Like for one, I should have acknowledged immediately that I was in this consolidation range, right? But for two, I was in this consolidation range and I took the low of the consolidation range, and that was also a previous month's low. And then I try shorting the next day on this big green candle. Like, bro, that's just silly of me. And then yesterday, same thing. Take a previous week's low early on in the week, and I'm trying to short it. Like, I don't get that. And then today was a little bit more understandable, honestly, because we had this inverse fair value gap that price came back and tested again, while Euro had tapped into its daily, right? So it makes more sense. But even then, it's like, okay, when you have a reaction like this, you expect somewhat of a continuation, especially if there's an untapped higher time frame PD array right next to it, and lower time frame order flow is clearly still bullish. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we had this Asia displacement lower, right? And technically we had this short-term low right here, right, that got displaced through. We didn't cut through this 1 hour for value gap though, but this low right here technically was traded through, right? But that's just a part of the Asia opposing range scenario, right? So, just silly. I'm just being a silly little goose. Obviously, I'm frustrated and I just want to like press buttons and try and fix my mistake immediately. So that's why I'm not going to trade tonight. If I was trading this though, this is what I'm going to do instead of trading tonight. I'm going to mark this up as if I was trading it, right? So clearly I would have had a bullish bias. Scenario was Asia opposing range. We're coming from a 4 hour for value gap on the dollar. And we had this 30-minute engulfing, but it was a little bit too big to enter off of the 30-minute engulfing. 5-minute for value gap was a little bit too big to enter all the way down there. And same thing with 15-minute. It's a little bit too big to enter all the way down there. How I would be entering off of here is just OTE, especially with how big of a range this is. I would just OTE, bang. And I'll even test out that stop loss. So I'm just going to leave that marked up, see if it ends up playing out in my favor. I'm not going to take it. And I'm going to go over to FX Replay and use the free battles to take out my anger. Because I want to press buttons so bad right now. I want to enter this trade so bad right now. Even this I would have been able to enter if it's right under. You know what I mean? Because when I have this shortened stop loss, I'm able to enter a little bit ahead if I want to, right? But it's still basically 1 to 2 hour. Like 2 ticks, right? So I'm just going to leave it like that. Act as if I'm in the trade right now. Watch that. Go press buttons on here. At least I acknowledged my tilt. I'm just going to let this thing do its thing. And, yeah. Honestly, I already feel better just like talking about it and like acknowledging the fact that I was going through tilt right there and that I wanted to trade again and try and flip the sides. It is what it is. Losses happen. Like I said before, I think it just hurts a little bit more because I feel like I'm smarter than this. Like, what's making me lose the trades is something as silly as direction. You know what I mean? Like, I've had direction down lately, and I feel like I'm overall pretty confident in my direction as well. I just need to make sure I'm locked in and not brush over it. You know what I mean? Like, I need to still take it into account and, you know, treat it as if I'm still a new learning trader, right? Because I'm still learning, but I need to respect it more, I guess I should say. So, yeah, I'm gonna go press some buttons on here